And we are live. We are the Uncle Puckers. Welcome to the show. My name is Uncle Pucker Chris, or you can just call me Chris. I like hockey. I like small, snarky forwards who get pissy with the media, and I like long walks on the beach, romantic dinners, and men who aren't afraid to cry.
Oh, my turn.
Your turn.
I'm Tim. I enjoy general managers who have foot and mouth disease, and I have a bad shoulder. Now my left arm looks like my tricep looks like that of a flabby 50-year-old woman's.
Would you care to introduce yourself, sir?
I'm Bobby. I'm just excited to be here. I couldn't hold off any longer. We actually got hockey to talk about, and you stole my airplane line, so that's all you're getting. Ooh, I could drop this little nugget in there, too. I've now been volunteered as the new strength and conditioning coach for the Quakers as well, so
go. And away we go.
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
So, Bobby, I'm expecting no serious shoulder injuries for these young children with you in charge, right?
That is the idea. I'm basically telling them to slow down a couple miles per hour.
Right.
Skating. I don't want 100%. I want like 95.
So, Tim, we are okay. See, right away, Stephen Engel hops in. And it's the we are fucked now, right? Everybody in Devil's Land is losing their minds. We are here.
I don't see the chat in this.
They should be up now. That one came in before I hit the show comment button. So that's why we're here. We're here to settle the masses, all 12 of you that watch us, and let you know that things are not nearly as bad as they kind of seem. I don't think. We're going to talk about it, but we actually have real hockey stuff to talk about. This isn't going to be let's recap the 1997 first round playoff series against the Penguins or whatever. Like, no, we don't do that anymore.
Those are good shows, though. By the way, it's nice to walk down memory lane.
We'll do them all next summer. Right now, we have 2 weeks to real hockey, like 3 days until preseason hockey. We have all of, with the exception of one, our players in camp. And I'm not as doom and gloom as everybody else.
Yeah, people seem upset. And I get it. There is a large vocal contingent of people that will take any word. If Fitz takes a sip of water, people are like, fuck this guy. Get him out of here. I hate him. Fire
it's not
him.
Fiji. How can he drink not Fiji water?
Get him out of here. It's like, all right, people. It's like, it's going to be okay. Gather around the fire. It's going to be okay. Chris is going to get the guitar out. He's going to sing a song. We're going to sing a little lullaby. It's going to be okay, everybody.
It's going to be like a little angel came down from heaven and kissed you in the ear.
That's how my singing is. Of an angel.
Kind of stupid question, but I've had the talk radio on a lot today, had the TV on a lot today. Saw the interview, with Fitz and Keefe, and saw a little bit of social media. So, what's all the damage control about?
What's all the hubbub, bub?
What's the hubbub? Is it because of Luke?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Luke stuff. He remember how we were a little critical of him after the trade deadline when he said we're creating competition, which is a PR-ish type of spin zone on his deadline. So this time he said, we don't really have holes in the lineup. What we have is opportunity, which is that spin put in a different way. It's fucking hilarious, but but it's true. It's like, people are very narrowly focused on the Devils and really need to understand the full context of what is happening in the league right now. And Kyle Dubas said this a week or so ago, I think on Jeff Merrick's show, where he's like, look, nobody has cap pressure anymore to relieve salary. Like, nobody has that problem anymore. And that's really what often drove a lot of problems. But we don't have we don't have
because we have to sign Luke, and there's no
sort
money
of,
for it.
but like we still have we still have Kovacevic LTIR, so they have that back pocket option of doing that. It's not ideal. The ideal thing would have been unload Palat, get a better player in, and be able to sign Luke long term. But that didn't happen. We still have very good players. We're still going to be a good team. Like, we're not going to miss the playoffs. Fucking relax.
And I still think that there's something's going on, that there's a move here that's about to happen. And I believe that. I think that.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think he probably did try and unload Palat. Whether or not he had no takers, apparently, maybe, even if you just had somebody retain 50% or 25% of the salary, you do what you can and dump that salary, move off of him. I also think that there is a world where he is going to move off of Dougie Hamilton. And I'm not saying I agree with that, but some of the comments that were made by Jack, which I kind of took a little bit.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about that. But what did he say? Like anything else in the press conference that you guys heard that's worth talking about?
He tried to joke at first when someone was like, "What's going on with Luke's contract?" And Fitz is like, "Who?"
Did that whole thing?
Yeah.
Like, maybe not the time for a joke like that, you fucking asshole.
It's the weird thing about Tom Fitzgerald is, like, he has the GM/coach speak down, right? Where they say a lot of words and they never really say anything. Yeah. We don't have holes in the lineups. We have opportunity. Like, it's all coach speak. It's all bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. But he's so bad at sometimes just putting his foot right in the mouth. Like, this is my number one priority 3 months ago, that I'm going to get this done. Like, all he had to do was not say that. All you had to say was, yes, of course, we're working on it. This is complex.
I don't think he deserves this kind of negativity. If you listen to his presser, he very clearly stated that this is part of the process and that he's texting Luke. I mean, if he's texting Luke, obviously we're good. He should be here any day.
Think there's
any texting, they're buds.
Think there's any dick pics in there?
Really? Think so?
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
How about now, Luke?
Yeah. It's not Babcock, all right?
No, that's true.
Let me read you something really quickly regarding. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. So this guy Thomas Drance, who is a Canucks guy, he's a pretty knowledgeable hockey podcaster. He does a lot of the PDO cast with Dmitry Filipovich. So he put something out, which is pretty interesting. Where he said, look at the long history of productive 10.2C RFAs. So the situation where Luke was in, where he can't go anywhere. He wasn't going to arbitration. Like, we own his rights. He can't fucking go anywhere. And he said, you'll find very few training camp attendees. Some of those guys are Gaudreau, Torrey Krug, Brock Boeser, and Quinn Hughes. So all of those guys in their contract renewal year missed training camp or parts of training camp. Mm-hmm. Again, it's not ideal. He should have done this and should have had this done before. I get it, but he hasn't yet. And I think part of the complication is the new cap environment, and what that's kind of forcing GMs and agents to rejigger what certain players' values are.
Rejigger? I don't think I've ever heard that.
Rejigger. Oh, whatever. You said cockroach yesterday.
Twice again.
Cockroach.
Cockroach.
I mean, yeah. I think he's going to sign. I mean, we know he's going to sign. It's just a matter of when and for how long.
He's going to sign.
He's going to sign. It'll be fine. But if he doesn't, we have Ethan Edwards. No problem.
Yeah. I don't like that we're starting off the first exciting day of hockey in the same negative space. I'm getting a lot of good vibes from today. I don't know if I'm the only one here, but listen to some of the other things that happened in this presser. And then we're going to talk real quickly about what the team looks like as of today, as of day one, because I think it's pretty exciting, right? So first of all, we already established that Fitz is texting Luke. So it's any day now, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Once you're texting, you're texting. He did mention, of course, there's some opportunities, in the top 6, looking at it. Looks like Mercer's going to get that look, right? Keith, Says he feels really good. Second year, feels like home now. The players know what to expect from him. He knows what to expect from the players. Those things do go a long way. He said Nemec looked great and had a really great season. I think he understands his opportunity with Kovacevic being out. Brown, as advertised, total team guy, total leader. They're looking forward to seeing him more. They said Gritsuk, they couldn't say enough about, right? He's bigger and stronger than they thought. He's got an amazing shot and great playmaking ability. And Dadonov is, in fact, that kind of complementary player that can be on a line with two dynamic guys and maybe fill another mold. So you take that, and then you look at day one. We only have day one to work off, right? So let's just talk about it right away. Dadonov, Hughes, Bratt. We've mentioned it before. We mentioned how that could be a very logical fit for what Dadonov can bring, which allows Hischier, Meyer, Mercer, right? So a lot of people worry about him being the center. You get him off there. He definitely has value on the wing. He can definitely pot some goals and be very responsible up there. And even the third line, as much as it's shaking out now with Palat, Glass, Brown, could be really good. I prefer to maybe see a lot down another peg, but 3-4, whatever. At that point, that's fine. That's where I like to see him. The problem is when you get down to the fourth line, I'm still a little lost. So other than Cotter and the fact that Nason's out, but will be a given when he comes in, I really don't know who's centering that. I don't know if it's going to be a young kid that could possibly do that. But the start right now for day one, like if you told me those top two lines specifically, and even the third line were like likely lines to start the season, I'm already good with that just on like preseason prognostications, just like what we've talked about, where on paper, that looks to me to be really good, and it looks to kind of lengthen the lineup. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Drop the puck.
Where was
Cup number 4?
On those line combinations, though, Gritsuk wasn't on.
Well, that's the other question I had. I left him off.
Okay, he was on the fourth line?
Well, he was on the line with Hamaniho and Cotter. So to Bob's point, it's like, yeah, those three top lines, and like this is kind of what we were talking about, is like there's a little bit of like we don't have enough forwards, but we have too many. And someone's kind of a little bit misslotted. And that fourth line kind of felt like an island of misfit toys. But again, it's two different camp groups, so like
that's why
they're divvying stuff up, but whatever. It is what it is for now. And if Gritsuk starts on the fourth line, if that top nine is what it is, I'm fine with that too. Ease him in. He won't be getting that. Won't be him getting the Holtz treatment where he had an opportunity and got buried. It's him getting buried at first to kind of grow into the league and grow into himself. He could also pop with those guys and like, all right, shit, we got to put him up in the top 6 or on the third line.
I think with Glass kind of slotted in as that 3C, I think it'll be Juho as the 4C most likely, right? Hamaniho?
Maybe, it could be Glendening or even Rooney.
Oh, right.
I don't know why. I don't know why. The one thing I keep coming back to with Lemico is like, he had a contract and was doing well on his Swiss team. I don't know why he would take a one-way, 1-year deal and not get guaranteed NHL time.
Right.
That's kind of the one weird thing about what his deal is. Like he's not going to get sent to the AHL. Like if anything, he'll be the 13th forward. But unless he's got somehow explicitly promised playing time and a specific role, I don't see why he would have left, because he still had a contract in Switzerland that he left to come here. It's probably more money and an opportunity back in the NHL, but I don't see why he would have left just for maybe an outside opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they probably promised him legitimate minutes, and so that's probably why he came. So I think he's probably, unless he just gets flat out beaten out by somebody, and you just, you don't want to send him down, whatever, you release the kid or the guy. I mean, he's like fucking 30 years old. But it's interesting without Nason, because he's going to be out for quite a bit. Like, he's probably not starting the season. Who's going to take that? Like, that's what I'm curious. Like, can that be a spot where LeChance sticks around maybe early on in the season and gets an opportunity there in his spot? That'd be interesting to watch. I do have a question for you guys.
LeChance, and then again, you're still Gritsuk to be in there.
That's true
too. Getting a spot, and although it seems out of place a little bit for him to be a fourth line. Tim made a good point. It's not like being buried in demotion. This is the time he can get. And if he winds up overproducing, I'm sure they'll move that around and do
I
some
don't.
shuffling and all that.
I know, but I don't agree with that. When you have a guy who's supposed to
I don't
be
either.
a natural born sniper, you have to give them opportunity with the best players out there.
Yeah.
So putting him, 8 minutes a night with Juho and Cotter, is that really the best thing for his development, even if it is short term? Like, to me, just off the top of my head, and I haven't even watched a game yet, I would like to, let's assume Pilat is gone and maybe Mercer goes down to that third line and Gritzuk can go up to that Heischer and Meyer line and see what he can do there. Just for talking shits and giggles, I would actually prefer to see that. I don't hate Dawson Mercer. I just really want to see Dawson Mercer find his, like Bobby, you've talked about this for years, his spot, where he belongs, where he's slotted in the right spot, where we can get the most out of him. Because for the last couple of years, it has seemed like he's just been a guy. Yeah, it's great that you have a guy that you can plug into a bunch of different spots, but if he doesn't excel at any of them, then you got to find out where.
Is it jack of all trades, master of none?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I feel like he's got great hockey sense to be that reliable two-way forward, third line, maybe shutdown roll-ish kind of thing, and with some extra pop. But I also feel like the guy's is a legit top 6 winger. And I think maybe if he gets a long chance with the right players, I don't think that maybe the 30 goals was an albatross, but I don't think it's that far off. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's that kind of player. I think he's right there. He just needs the right situation.
I also I was just going to say real quick, I also have complete faith that Sheldon Keefe is going to try everything. He's going to give everybody an opportunity to training camp to attempt to see, to show them what they have. And I think he has no problem with, if you deserve it, you're going to get the spot. I don't believe Sheldon Keefe is that kind of guy. At the end of the day,
if we're just flat out winning, do any of us care who the hell slotted where?
No,
hell no.
No, and Gritzuk will be on the second power play unit, so he will get an opportunity there. And honestly, it is distributing scoring up and down the lineup. Like I think a lot of the reasons why we're putting him in the top 6 is because we assume that he's going to kind of out of the gates be a bit of a passenger. But what if he is like more of a play driver? Then we have an offensive play driver on the fourth line too. So I think I can talk myself into that positioning. The other thing, and this has kind of come out recently, and I think JP wrote about it, and Alex Chauvency wrote about it as well, and it's one of the things that I was thinking about too, was that Pilat Glass Brown line as a third line shutdown line. And one of the things that they both pointed out that I missed was Pilat's like with and without like numbers. With everybody, Pilat made everybody worse, except for one guy, and that was Cody Glass, where Cody Glass's numbers were actually better with Pilat. So you add those two with Brown, that could be something. And with Brown's speed to be able to kind of turn and counterattack, it could be a thing. So I know it's still day one. We have a long ways to go. But I do like the looks of what they're doing. And who knows what happened with Nason.
You know what, too, with that third and fourth line combo, like, you could have their roles, right, maybe specifically designed, but you could also be Keefe in any particular game situation and tell them to go turn it up, because there's like legit scorers on each line with hands that could do that and some speed. So yeah, they could play the role we want them to play as to that full team concept, but there's also no saying they couldn't charge once in a while too, and they really need to charge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you put our fourth line against another team's fourth line, with Cotter and Gritzuk, it could be like, our fourth line's better and we're going to control the game. And then that kind of puts the momentum back in. There are historical thoughts on what a fourth line should be and what a fourth line kind of has evolved into being. You need scoring threats up and down the lineup. So
absolutely.
Look, Sheldon Keefe knows better than we do about how to put together this team.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Sorry. I know I'm talking to the strength and conditioning coach for the Quakers here, but
that's true.
I've only been appointed that because I'm stronger than all of them. Not normally the case.
I could fuck those little kids up.
The thing is too, the importance. Like, we know, like, we bitch and moan sometimes if Meyer or Bratt go into a little bit of a slump, or throughout the season, or Jack is injured again or whatever, and I know. I was just joking about that. But we bitch and moan about, oh, Mercer's, hasn't scored in X amount of games, or Myers only has, he's hitting everything but the back of the net, blah, blah, blah. I think we hyper focus on all those things, especially last year, because of just how terrible our bottom six was. Like there was no progress from them at all. There was nothing that we never got done with a game, hopped on a show and been like, man, we are such a complete team. Up and down the lineup, we are a complete team.
And it was viewed as a strength going in.
Yeah, but now, like, we know what we're going to get from our top guys. Like, we know Jack's going to be awesome. We know Nico's going to be great. Brat's going to be Brat, and Timo's going to be Timo. Those bottom guys are the ones I'm so excited about. And exactly what you guys just said. If we had a fourth line that can actually give offensive pressure, a third line that, we can shut down your number one line, but we can also spend a heck of a lot of time in your offensive zone. I mean, that's a recipe to win. And I'm super, super excited for this year. I really am. But, Bob, what's up, Sean? Welcome to the show, man. I know you want to stay on the positive, but Jack had a quote, and I'm kind of up in the air because I saw that this quote just came out, and it was said that it was said in September, this month of this year, but then I read somewhere else he said it after the Four Nation face-off. So I don't know exactly when he said it. Okay. And I'm just curious, is this concerning? Is this nothing? So Jack said about Luke, hopefully Luke can come in and be on power play one from day one. That's super important for him because he has so much upside. And when we do give him these things that all the other number one Ds around the league we get a great return. Okay. Was that one big brother just pumping the tires of a little brother? Was that a shot on Dougie? This could be something that's holding this contract up, is just where he is on this team and what this team thinks of him moving forward? Is he the number one? Does he want to be that guy? That's why I brought the Hamilton thing up earlier, that maybe there is something going on there. Or is this nothing? Bob, what do you think?
I always admire Jack's freedom to talk and say what's on his mind. This is definitely something that should not have been said because he's on his team. If it was just Big Brother in it and he's somewhere else, I get it. On this team to say that, it is a little bit kind of dicey because I still believe it's Dougie's spot to lose. I believe Luke is the future of that particular position. I also believe if Luke outperforms Dougie, he's got it. So I don't think that should have really been said, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, that being said, it's probably not a huge deal, but yeah, here we are, held up negotiations. You're wondering why, because it's obvious that two sides want to get it done, or specifically that the Devils really want to get it done. Could it really be in the back of his mind already that if I'm not guaranteed PP1, I'm not signing there? This is between his agent and the GM. That's a key assignment anyway. So yeah, I think it's nothing in the terms of hockey business, okay, but it's probably one of the few things I think Jack probably shouldn't have said. You could say we want to play together. You could say who knows where it's going to be, all that shit. But on this team as it's constructed, that kind of does sound like you're saying, hey, push Dougie out. That's my brother's spot. And that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I agree with Bob on that. Like, that's, brother thing is one thing, but that is also your teammate who, you're also call your brother. So what I think will happen and should happen, and I've said this before, like, I would have been fine with moving on with Dougie if Kovacevic wasn't fucking dead. Because I don't think Casey and Nemec were good enough defensively, and they're both kind of too much of wild cards defensively to insert into the lineup to take 40 minutes a night, to play, be 2/3 of a right side of our D core. For as much as people think Dougie sucks defensively, it's wildly overblown. Like how bad he is defensively. It is. You can nod your head all you want.
No, I mean, the eye test. Sometimes you just sat there shaking your head at some of the
because the eye test, you remember one thing, and meanwhile you don't remember the 10 things that he does right, and that's what the numbers say, and that's that I will fucking argue.
I'm not a hater of anybody on this team.
Argue.
I like Hamilton.
But anyway, let me just get before I go off on my Dougie tangent. What I think needs to happen is Dougie needs to stay healthy, have a good season until about the trade deadline when Kovacevic comes back. Nemec needs to prove he belongs. Then that makes Dougie more expendable. Nemec can slide into that Dougie right D. Kovacevic comes back, and then Luke can take that power play one. But I think until then, Dougie should still be the first power play quarterback. Like, I've said this before. It's like, I don't know why they would change it. Like, they were one of the best power plays in the league and one of the most dangerous in terms of chance generation. Dougie, for all the shot issues that he has, still is a shot threat, which spreads the PK up top and gives you better opportunities in the bumper for Nico and Nason. So I still think that's the right path to do. And to be honest, like, you know, how much Fitz talks about family and all that shit. Like, that's why I don't think Palat's going anywhere at this point, or Dougie. Like, their kids are in school. They live in New Jersey. You know, like, Fitz isn't going to ship one of them off, like, and have them have to take their kids out of school and all that shit. Like, he's just not going to do that.
That kind of thing doesn't win championships.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it, but
that's the case. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I mean,
I don't either. But I'm saying that's what I think is happening. I'm not saying I agree with it.
I mean, you asked the question, I think last week, who would we rather see on power play one, and all three of us said Dougie. It's his spot, you know, and I agree with that. This is kind of, if this was something he said recently, it is, I think, kind of off brand for Jack to kind of. You know, he always kind of is snide and snarky and gives his little one-word answers. And, you know, even if you saw the interview he did today, like when they asked about, I guess it was just something about, you know, are you doing anything different, you know, getting ready for this season? They asked him like that a million times. He was just like, at one point, he was like, I feel fine. I you know, I didn't do it. Can we just stop this now? It's the fourth time you've asked me that already. Like, I get that. But this is, it's kind of just a straight up shot at Dougie. Maybe not. And yeah,
let's go devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah,
perhaps not knowing the full context of lead up questions and all that, could it have been a situation where whoever was probing him was basically suggesting Luke's underperforming or not living up to his ability and all that? And Jack's trying to find a way to say, hey, give him the right ice time, you'll see what you get. We don't really know. I still don't think it's right. I think at a certain level, as much as I believe people should kind of speak their mind, you do also have to kind of border yourself there and just make sure you're not, you know, burning a bridge.
That's a very good point. Was that what question was that in response to? Was that like, hey, say they move on from Dougie, then what, you know, about Luke's production? And he's like, well, then you should be getting power play one time, which of course he should be. You know, that's a very, very, very good point. Everybody write that down.
As much as we do shit on Fitz a lot for some of the things he does or doesn't do, I do think he has a clear picture of how he wants this team to look, not just this year, but 4 or 5 years down the road. I think that for the most part, he has a good idea of how he wants it, whether or not he does it or whether or not what he thinks it should look like is the right thing. That remains to be seen. But I do think he has a clear picture, and that clear picture is GM obviously. Yeah, right? And that's obvious.
I always say that whiteboard, all those moving pieces, this one goes, what happens? Like they have a few steps down the line.
I would fucking hope they do.
Right. Yeah. And absolutely the future is that Luke is the number one D-man on this team in the future. That should be exact. That's why you want him for the 8 years. That's why you're not really comfortable with the 3 or 4 years.
He's 21 years old also.
Exactly. Right. Like you want this kid for his entire growth and prime of his career. You want the 8-year deal, not because he's going to be a third pairing defenseman his whole career. No, he's a number one dude. But unfortunately, like you said, he's 21 or 22 years old. He's played 2 full seasons. Let's just get him signed and then worry about everything else. You know, then we can worry about where he slots.
And defensemen in the league don't even get in until they're over 21, 22 years old.
And Bob, you said something like a couple months ago that really stuck with me, and here I go freezing. But let me finish my thought, and then I'll go. And this has actually happened to me at one of the companies I work for. It's like when a new CEO comes in and lays out this 5-year plan, and it's immaculate, and you're just like, this all sounds fucking amazing. Hell yeah, we're going to be a great company. And then everything that CEO does totally contradicts that 5-year plan. And you're like, what the fuck, man? What happened to our 5-year plan? That's kind of what this feels like a little bit sometimes. Like the Kovacevic deal, it's like that's not part of the 5-year plan.
No.
Resigning Allen, and now he's talking about a Markstrom extension. It's like, well, that's not part of the 5-year plan.
The unfortunate reality of the reactionary boss. Like,
yes,
take a step back, figure out if your plan still actually works, or if you truly, truly need to deviate from the plan. Because if you do that, then fine. I think to Tim's point too, where that gets missed is that, and even in hockey, in any organization, you have to rely on your other experts within those other particular fields to give you input, to say, yeah, you know what? We were wrong. We have to pivot off of this and go another direction, and not just be so quick to change everything. Kind of like when, we overreacted 2 years ago, got rid of all the speed, or not all, of course, but, and just it changed too much too fast. So.
Yeah. I mean, also now, are we running into a dilemma with Nico Dawes?
I wouldn't exactly call it a dilemma. I mean, I think it just kind of sucks. I have no idea if he would clear through waivers or not.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. There's no way he's going to clear through waivers. I think he has enough tape and enough people know what this guy can do. And I think that there's no chance you're going to get him through waivers. So that kind of like
product of the system and the business side of hockey. You've got decisions to make, and these decisions are dominoes down the line, whether you realize them at first or not. And then you're going to lose players you don't want to lose. You're going to run out of options, and you're just trying to make the best decision you can at each time. And it's not always going to work.
So do you try and maybe facilitate some type of trade for Nico Dawes now?
I'm sure you don't want to lose them for nothing.
Right.
But I'm also not going to make the assumption that any GM wouldn't already be thinking about that when us three idiots can. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's been talked about.
I think, these things have all been sort of iterated out. And I think the problem with that is what's Nico Dawes fetch? A 4th round pick, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nothing. It's
so on a 1-for-1, yeah. I think 1-for-1, like he's not really bringing about much value, but like, if he's still trying to unload Palat, I'd dangle Nico Dawes with him. Be like, here you go. Because if you're going to lose him anyway, it's basically an asset we weren't going to keep as it is. And if you have Malik and Brennan as your AHL goalies, and Trenton Bennett or whoever the fuck else in the ECHL, and Yegorov coming, Dawes is kind of a duplicative asset that we don't necessarily need. It just kind of sucks. I just don't like. They may keep him on the NHL roster, or Fitz may just. There are sometimes like waiver claims are actually pretty rare. And I was looking around the league at like who would actually need an NHL backup. And there aren't a lot of teams that would need an NHL backup necessarily, like maybe Edmonton, Seattle. And that's why, like, I don't know if like a trade package works anywhere necessarily, because anywhere with anybody that we'd actually want already has 2 goalies and sometimes 3.
Yeah, so something like that is an injury issue. That's when you hope that somebody goes down, and then you can kind of dang. Not that I want anyone to get hurt, but you know what I'm saying.
Or and maybe Fitz calls around and is like, "Hey, do not fucking claim this guy." Like he is captain hand jobs around the league. It's like, oh, I'll do you a favor, do me a favor. Maybe this is a chip he calls in.
Maybe. I mean, I would think that any general manager would say, yeah, sure, we're not going to claim him. We need a goalie, right? Claim the fucking kid.
I got to think that somewhere on that board, there was Dawes' position, and the initial thought was probably, yeah, we can sign Allen again, but I didn't think we were going to sign him for 25 years. So, yeah, we kind of made Dawes expendable at that moment. Up until that moment, it probably wasn't something they ever wanted to happen. I still don't think they want to lose an asset for nothing, but then that fell in their lap. You got a great backup goalie at what was he getting? $2.5 million a year or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Ridiculously low. Like it changed the whole dynamic of what we need coming up.
But I feel bad for him. Like, you're going into this off season. Like I'm the number 2. I got to earn it, but I'm the guy that's backing up Jacob Markstrom now. I'm finally going to get my chance. I'm going to get 25, 30 games under my belt this year. And it's like,
again, that was all us and people like us making that same logical assumption.
Right.
Fitz had a different idea. And not only did Fitz sign out, and he went and freaking gave him 5 years. Like, he's 49 when he's done, or whatever the hell he is.
It's just crazy. I mean, that one I don't understand the term on it. I don't know, man.
I mean, it's basically because they're like, Allen's like, I want $10 million. And Fitz is like, all right, well, here's fucking 5 years. to get $10 million. We're still paying both of our goalies less than most starters make.
No,
we're paying both of our goalies combined less than half of Bobrovsky. So,
and if you keep Allen for even, you keep him for even 2 years. I mean, if you had to eat 3 years of that deal, it's not, with the way the market, the cap's going up and everything, it's not like eating $6 million of Palat's salary this year, So
that's all. It's still that is still the one that is kind of like, all right, we're paying $6 million for like some marginal leadership, like.
Well, marginal leadership that I don't think makes sense anymore. Like we talked about it before. Like I don't think what Palat was brought in here for is something this team needs at this moment. Like I don't think I look, if he's going to be on this team, like we talked about, third line, I mean, he is great in the playoffs. So I can live with that. But at the same time, $6 million is something that when you have Luke sitting there and you just know that should be his money, that's where I get frustrated. Like, I get that you can't move him. I understand he serves a purpose, and I understand he's, a guy that's got a ton of experience, and that's great. But we have a couple of guys now with a ton of experience. I just,
and that's, we've talked about that. It's like, do we know if we have a different perspective on Palat than, we as fans have a different perspective on Palat than the team does.
Right. I think we probably do.
I think we do too. I think there is still a pervasive tough hockey man culture amongst GMs and grit and leadership and that permeates the league. And, so many people shit on Fitz and think he's like the worst thing that's ever happened. But again, if you look around the league and in context of the league, Fitz is a pretty average GM. He's not great. He's not the worst GM in the league. He is what it is. And kind of careful what you wish for. If you want Fitz gone, like, who's going to replace him? No, we have that fucking guy that was in Chuck Fletcher is an advisor. Is it going to be Kate Madigan, who hasn't exactly done a great job? Like, she's been in charge of player development, and we haven't exactly been like aces in the player development department. Is it McKinnon who traded his own son? I don't know.
But back to we can shit all over Fitz all we want for not having the Luke contract signed for the certain things like we think with Palat and that contract. But I think, and I think all three of us do, and maybe we are not the predominant Devil fans, but like I'm super excited and happy with this team. I think Nemo is going to have a great year. Like I just listened to that interview today. The kid said that he, really kind of paced himself this offseason, which I think was smart because I think that ended up hurting him early on last year with the amount of hockey that he was playing. And he said he paced himself. He took it kind of easy. He's got bigger, stronger. And then you look at, he was amazing in the playoffs. Like the kid did step up. So, and if we can get that play, he is an absolute superstar in this league.
Yeah, I think we will. And now he's a thick boy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where if Kovacevic didn't go down, we have another mushy middle year for this guy. And we're still wondering, like, is he going to pop? Did he make it? Is he the seventh defenseman? Like, we don't know where exactly it would all work out. I think he really realizes this is his shot. And given like his stature and how long he's been with the organization now, like I really think he's going to turn it on. I think we're going to see what he was supposed to be. Yeah, he's not going to peak yet. Of course, it's going to take several years, but I'm pretty comfortable with him. And I think, like Tim, you brought it up. So if he is riding high and then Kovacevic comes back, now we do have a problem. A good problem. For this year, you probably don't do anything because you got extra guys. People go down. That would happen in the playoffs last year. We didn't have a defense.
Yeah, no shit.
But long term, now you can start to go, all right, what can we get for one of these assets? Because we got a few of the same here. And you obviously want to keep the younger, more controllable assets. That's the world. Knowing Fitz, well, fucking Nemec will be fucking traded away, and we'll have a 37-year-old one-legged Dougie for like the next. You know what?
Years.
There was a time last year where the three of us would have said trade him away for a one-legged whatever.
And maybe that's why he did sign Kovacevic when he did. Maybe his logic was, if I lock him up, and because he's playing great, and if he continues playing great, and I lock him up, now I actually have a pretty decent right-handed defenseman that I can move off of next year to maybe get another asset up top or something of that nature. Maybe that was his thinking. Maybe the motherfucker's playing 3D chess, and we just think that, you know.
He gave Kovacevic a no trade clause.
Yeah,
I think he did. Okay, well, that just flushes my thoughts right down the toilet.
You can't fucking help himself.
I mean, he's playing checkers.
he's eating the checkers.
Yes, exactly. You put him up his fucking
the little checkerboard where you could just roll out that thin piece of plastic.
Yeah, it keeps rolling back up, and you got 2 beer bottles on the
little case. Like, mommy, I barfed.
I think that when Kovacevic's deal came up, it was transactional. It was in the moment, and you're thinking like one-dimensionally, this player, this contract, what does this do? I do feel like there was an element forgotten in those negotiations about, oh shit, that's right, I got a plan here. How does this kind of throw everything off? Unless he was already in the back of his mind thinking we're probably going to move away from Nemec while we could still get some value on him. You know, I don't know what he was thinking, but it did. He's made a few moves like that, right? That are just complete head scratchers. Like, yeah, you want to sign Kovacevic? Got it. Give him a shorter term deal, a little bit more bump instead of what you did.
But you didn't need to do it at that time.
And there was no reason for a no trade clause. There was no reason for
it. Like, why did you rush to do that at the trade deadline?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the move, to be honest, with the way our team was going, was to actually trade him at the deadline when and get some value back from him. A big, mobile, right-handed defenseman, like that would have got a shitload of assets.
He made a comment today that if you'd have asked him around Christmas last year, he would have said we could win the Stanley Cup. And if you asked me middle of the year, I said, no, we're not playing good enough. I think this guy just really gets emotionally invested really quick. And in between playing great and playing shitty, maybe a little bit of panic set in because there's no reason to give him that extension with no trade at that moment, unless he's already going, this is spiraling out of control. My plan's not going to work. None of these guys are good. I need something solid. Like it just didn't make sense, but he does seem to ride, the emotion pretty high.
That doesn't give me much confidence at all, but you might be right.
Yeah, it could be, Jesus Christ. Then one of us could probably be doing a better job because we're riding that emotional roller coaster too. But
except we don't have millions and millions of dollars to take that kind of whatever panic or whatever and do stuff with. Like, just imagine being a mess and have millions and millions of dollars at your control and people's lives. And I would do some really fucked up shit. I should never be a general manager.
That's kind of my
I'll tell you that right now. But I mean, look, I'm excited about this team. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes this year for as far as like when guys start getting healthy and coming back. Because things take off and we're killing it. We're having a good September, good October rather, good November. Things are good. Kovacevic is coming back. Nason's coming back. There are going to be things that people are going to have to be moved. You're going to have to do something.
Kovacevic and Nason were A+ trade deadline acquisitions this upcoming year. And Collect Records just said it. Exactly.
I'm putting it up here. Read it.
Like that's great. He needs to learn how to communicate. He doesn't communicate well. He puts his foot in his mouth. Who did he call a Swiss jackknife? Like, that's not the fucking term. Like, what are you talking about, man? It's a Swiss Army knife. Like, what? Like, come on. Then like 2 years ago when he was like, I know exactly what this team wants. I know what they crave. It's like, come on. Like, you can't say that and then not do it right.
What do you think of what Meadowlander writes here?
I don't think Luke asked for a 5-year deal. That was made up. Like, Jack more or less said that to Elliot Friedman. He was like, yeah, I saw those reports. Anyone at a bar could say that.
Yeah, I don't agree with
neither
that.
of those reports, that the Novozinski or Nichols reports, cited anyone saying that they're asking for a 5-year deal.
I'm going to call it right now on this show.
He did. Yeah, Zach put that out. He said Swiss Army knife in the presser today. I was like, you motherfucker.
Oh, real quick, speaking of Swiss, did you hear that Tomas Tatar got suspended one game?
No.
In the Swiss league? Yeah, like apparently he cross-checked some dude in the back and then kind of rode him down to the ice, and he got a 1-game suspension for it.
That's illegal.
But, yeah.
And our old buddy Daniel Sprong had a hat trick in the KHL a couple days ago.
Good for Daniel. Couldn't find the back of the net for us, but good for him. I do want to talk about.
I still think so. Do you want to reset and go back? I want to address what Sean said because I agree. I think now that we see the LTIR is probably what's going to happen, what are our contract predictions for Luke?
Okay, that's where I was going. Mine is.
All right, there you go.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to say it right here on this show. It's going to be 8 years. It's going to be, I think, I'm going to go 8.75, 8 by 8.75. And I think it'll be done by Monday morning.
Well, he does take the weekends off.
Monday afternoon.
Very cool.
What do you guys
I'm in complete agreement with that, dude. I think it's going to get done. It's going to be 8. I think there's going to be a year or two. He'll make more than Jack because it's a different market. And I really do. I really think that's going to be done.
I'm going to stick with my original number that I've said this whole time, 8 by 8.25. I think he's still that sort of Faber Sanderson comp. Those deals weren't done all that long ago, even though it's a new cap environment. I think that may be part of what the argument's about. Fitz is like, yeah, those deals were only done like recently, and the agent's like, no, he's a $9 million player, and Fitz is like, no, we need him to take 8 and change, and it's a little bit more than Jack. The other thing that keeps coming up is Jack's deal being kind of an embarrassment for Brisson because it continually is cited as like the most valuable deal in the league. And there could be a little bit of that in there as well, but I still think 8 by 8.25 is a more than fair number. It's a little bit less than Sanderson. It's a little bit more than Jack. It's that quote unquote discount that Fitz gets from guys. So that's what I still think it's going to be.
And Sean Sky has it at 9.5, and Zach has it at 8 by 9.5. So they both are thinking 9.5.
I could
in the 8s, right?
I think and that's what I think. Maybe it is closer to 9. That 8.875 is a good number, but I still think it's got an 8 in front of it.
I could just see it. Yeah, on average annual value, I could see it being the 8, 8.25, 8.5, 9, and right. 9 2 year or something like that, and then kind of pyramiding back down. But the other thing I wanted to bring up real quick is that I hate this notion and possible negotiation tactic that has to do with the presumptive increase of the cap. Yes, it's a healthy sport. I guess it's growing, so the cap will go up. But I hate the fact that we can have players or player agents looking at what might be and falling into today's negotiation. So some of that always has to happen. There's future predictions. I get it. But the amount of cap space they're talking about now, first of all, it means none of us are ever going to a goddamn game again in 10 years. But at some point, that can't be a negotiating tactic to that level, a la Caprill. Really, if it's true, 8 by 16, you don't want that because the cap in 10 years might be double. So you want, whatever, 10% of the cap at 20 million, whatever, just speculating there. Does that bother anybody else? I know it's part of sports, but I just think at some point, all these future assumptions are just too much to lay on a contract that you want to do today. You're already making future assumptions based on the player's ability, based on their growth, or if they're on the later end of their career, based on their decline. You're already doing all that. You can't also bring in all these market factors to that level.
Well, you guys know the reason why we had a salary cap, a basic salary cap freeze for a couple of years, right? You guys remember the global pandemic that happened that nobody saw coming? You're right. If something like that happens again, and that money that you're projecting isn't there. So I agree with you. I think, yes, you do have to negotiate it a little bit, but you should not make that your end all. But you want to meet for 8 years. But by the time my contract gets to year 5 or year 6, I'm a bargain because the cap's going to be X amount.
That's
it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
I get raises every year that don't even technically keep up with inflation. It's the game. You don't like it? Get a new job, or stay where you're comfortable and realize, you got 2% this year and inflation was 3.5.
We've also really, hockey in particular has fallen into this paying for future projections
quite early.
Much more so than any other sport. Frank Nazar on Chicago just got a 5 or 6 year deal, and he's only played 50 games. We're getting a little out of control with some of these things. Whatever happened to kind of being rewarded for what you are as a player? That's
That's why there was always that kind of sunset contract too. That kind of legacy is what you've earned in your career. You're getting a little more, even though we know you're on the back nine. Like the Penguins re-signing Crosby over and over again, or whatever they would. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That was the intention of those 35 plus veteran bonus laden contracts, because you can add a bunch of bonuses that don't really count towards the cap. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be.
I was thinking,
especially.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, especially that Kirill Kaprizov saga. I'm so curious to see how that thing's going.
Good segue, because that's the other thing. I'm going to try to articulate this. So, I was thinking back about one of the things we brought up with Kirill was not only his skill and his future skill and all that, but his durability. We have our own issues with our superstar and his durability. And I started thinking, dear God, isn't it bad enough that we lose Jack for 2 quarters of a season? That's half, a third of the season or whatever at $9 million. You imagine having that same thing happen if we're paying him $16 million.
Sure.
Like, who else do we not have on this team in that situation? Again, I know this contract's already 3 years old and market changes, but the way things are going like that, the more it's like you're going to bank all this money on somebody that to this point has given you 1 full season. Like, that has to factor in, because your team gets completely denied its actual skill set when your top guys go down.
I will say
that's why I think that bullshit about Jack's contract being so valuable. I feel like that's such an easy counterpoint for Fitz to make if that actually comes up. If Brasson's like, well, they constantly reference this Jack deal that I did with you. I'd be like, if I were Fitz, I'd be like, yeah, well, the fucking kid's never healthy. He's played one complete season, so we're not really getting a lot of value out of that contract.
Or Jack was sitting there a few years ago and said, yeah, I can get another $1 million or $2 million, but I want to build a winning team here. I want to be a part of a big winning team. Maybe he's again not laying out $5-6 million off the table, but 1, 2, pretty wealthy family, 3 kids coming in the NHL. I mean, they're all going to do well for each. I mean, let's give him a little credit too. Maybe he wanted a friendly deal because he wants to be part of a sustained winner.
When it comes to the Kirill Kaprizov thing, the only thing that surprised me more that he turned down $16 million a year is the fact that Billy Guerin and the Wild offered it to him. Like, that to me was crazy. Like, you're offering this dude $16 million? Like, Draisaitl's only at like $14 million, and I'll take Draisaitl 10 times out of 10 over Kaprizov. But it's like the thing about the Jack contract is everybody else talks about it. Like, you never hear, like, Jack has never brought his contract up. He has never used it as a way to kind of throw
almost
shade
the
at the
opposite.
Organization.
Recall? Yeah. Sign the deal. That's what he was saying after their good years. Sign the deal.
Sign it.
That meant, it might not be everything you want, but it's still good. Let's get this team going forward.
No, he did talk about it the other day, but only about term. When he was talking to Elliot Friedman, he's like, well, I'm the guy on the long-term deal, so I don't really give a fuck what happens. It's pretty funny. He's like, Quinn's got 2 more years. Luke's is up. He's like, I'm on the long-term deal. Don't ask me.
That's true. I mean,
like, Jack only has 1 pair of sneakers. He's those white sneakers that he wears everywhere. Like, what does he need this money for?
This hate.
Luke lives on his fucking couch. What does he need?
Yeah, the hate towards the Hughes brothers, I don't understand. I just don't like. I don't feel like they have ever done anything to really put themselves into that, shitty category. They don't do anything on the ice that you fucking hate about him. You don't hear stories about him outside of hockey that you're like, these guys are fucking assholes. Like, they just seem like good kids that are great at hockey, and that's it. So this hate towards them, like, I mean, I was listening to the Aces show a little bit, and a lot of our guys listen, and I saw that Meadowlander and Devil Heaven and these guys who we love, but speak of Ace. Hey, Ace.
There he is.
It was, there a lot of hate towards the Hughes brothers, and I just don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, let's see, what did Ace say?
I'm assuming a lot of hate comes from jealousy then, and like inappropriate jealousy that they had a family that could actually field 3 NHLers. Like, that bothers you any more than the fact that you could never be an NHLer, let alone the fact that 3 brothers could. Like, I didn't know. I honestly didn't really know there was kind of a universal hate for them. I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, just people are like, I just want to get rid of them. We don't need the drama, all the other shit. And then with the talk of Quinn coming, just kind of, expose more.
There's a lot of people.
Cool as hell.
Yeah. there are a lot of people in the Devils fan base, like us that are, we're grew up on 90s, early 2000s Devils hockey, which was beat the shit out of teams, stifle them defensively, and score opportunistic goals and have a stud in net. And we are a differently constructed team now. Like these are our stars now. Like it or not. I know a lot of people want to get rid of them, and I know Jack has been hurt a lot, but like he's not gonna. People keep saying like, oh, we need to trade him. Like they're not getting traded. Like stop it. Like he's not getting traded. But so either get on board with that or not.
Like Ace wrote, the hate is that they do give off a sense of entitlement and arrogance. I guess, I mean, I see that too. But if you were one of those kids, I think I'd be really kind of fucking arrogant too. Like, I'm so much better at life than all of you.
I don't see it as
I'd be dead most likely.
I think that the arrogance is knowledge of how good they are. Yeah. And I kind of want my players to be a little bit arrogant. I want you to be like, yeah, I'm fucking better than you, and I'm about to show you. Like I want that from my players.
I agree.
Entitlement, I don't necessarily agree with. I've never seen one thing where Jack, and actually, like you see it a lot in like the videos that the Devils do behind the scenes with like the kid stuff with Jack and Luke and like the stuff they do with kids. Yeah. And, like Jack's always signing autographs. Like if he was telling people to fuck off and not sign autographs, I don't know. Like I'm not really around him. I don't know if that's happened to anybody. I see them more as kind of quiet. I mean, the kid reads books.
So last year, Tony was in country. He was down in Florida. He went to the Devils Tampa game. I think we got shut out 4-0. One of our awesome 9 shutouts of the year. But so he was here with his family, and he had his little girls, and they were hanging out in front of Amalie Arena, waiting for a lot of the players to come. And he had pictures and met everybody. And he said, because Jack, Luke, and Mercer all came in together. He said, Jack, there was a bunch of people there, but Jack went out of his way, kind of ignored the adults, went right over to the kids and signed all their stuff, took pictures with them, like got down to their level, talking to them, all that shit. Like Tony was floored by it. He was like, everybody was.
That was them on their own, Jack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was just,
Jack, he said Jack waved him over. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jack waved him over for his little girls to get signed and stuff like that. So I do think, yes, they do have a sense of arrogance about them. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Like you said, I want my players to be arrogant. You listen to the Florida Panthers talk, that whole fucking team. Now, granted, they have every reason to be as arrogant as possible. Yeah. But if that bothers you and you're a fan, then you'll hate everybody on that team. Because
I firmly believe that Jack's mindset is I want to be the best NHL player in the world. I want to be the best hockey player in the world. And he goes out there and he blows a tire once in a while and all that. Like we've discussed it. You ever really going to be Connor McDavid? You're probably a tick below. That's just the reality. But it isn't going to stop Jack from thinking he can be and going out there and trying to perform that way. So
apparently Ace has a significant amount of information that counteracts that entitlement claim. Yeah, and Metalinder, I get, he said people pay to watch me play, but that was after the guy tried to take his head off with an elbow, and right before he said people pay to watch me play, he's like, what are you doing? You fucking out here trying to hurt people. And
right.
People pay to watch
it's also play. True.
That quote was cut off, which is true. People pay to watch him play.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, and then look, I get it. Like he wasn't the Jack that we know at Four Nations. Like he was falling everywhere, looked a little out of place. He was playing wing. He did have more of a defensive responsibility and a defensive assignment, I think. Like he was out there matched up against Connor McDavid's line with Austin Matthews most of the time. Some of his defensive numbers were good, but yeah, he didn't look great. But he also didn't get any power play time. That's where we really see Jack dominate. And frankly, guys his size need power play time to be able to really thrive. They need a little bit more time and space. Like it's true. I get it. Like everybody wants your guys to be bigger, stronger than the other guys. I would fucking love to have Barkov, but we don't have Barkov. We have Barkov light and Nico Hischier.
It's also why he's so light anymore.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. He's Thico.
It's also why these dream
trying to make
teams
Thico Hischier happen.
And these fantasy teams don't always translate to like the greatest hocky team.
That's true.
Too much of the same element doing things. You have so much talent that you're putting Jack in that particular situation. You know what I mean? So in a real context with different teams, maybe you don't have 3 of those guys. You're building around a different way.
And look, no matter what happens this year, no matter what happens with Luke's contract, all the other bullshit, we still have Nico Hischier and 31 other teams don't. So fuck you. That's how I feel. I love
that was the point I wanted to make before. Every year we come in optimistic, and you hear stories about, the guys are ready for this year and really plan for it. And usually it's just kind of hockey talk. It's a little bit true. It really feels like it's true this year for some of the people they're talking about specifically, like Hischier, like Nemec, like getting the guy Brown in here. Like, it really does feel like, I think if the Devils, all of them, are not sickened by like their lack of success at this point, I'd be shocked. I think they really are all saying we have to turn this. The time is now. It literally has to be now.
Yeah, this is definitely the year.
And this is a conversation. Keep going. Sorry, I was.
No, just like we said it. This is as proven a year that Jack Hughes and the Devils team I think I've ever had. Like, now it's Jack's got to stay healthy. He's got to be a part of this team for 82 games, and the team has to make a deep playoff run, which I think they're fully capable of. If health is right, they're fully capable of it. The grit. Because I see Metalander and these guys are right, and they're 100% right. I mean, if Tony were here, if Tony were here, he'd be going, guys, we still don't have that. He'll say Kachuk, that Marchand, that guy.
That's not
great. They're fucking unicorns, though, and they're all in Florida.
There are 4 of them in the league.
Yeah. So I mean, but I do think that we have, and I'd be fine with. I was saying, like Sean says, it would be good with 70 games for Jack. Like, I was saying, like 75. Like, I don't want this guy missing more than 7 games, but I'd be okay if it was 12. It's still better than playing only 60. I just think that when these guys are healthy, maybe we don't need to have those bangers, that gritty guys. And I think we have them too. I still think, like, you got Dylan, you got Cotter. From last year to the year before, we've got a lot grittier.
We have one undersized forward that doesn't really play with any kind of, physical edge to his game. We have a second undersized forward that does play with a physical edge to his game. Everybody else has a gritty physical edge to their game. What Tony wants, and I kind of agree with him, is that guy with a fucking attitude and a prick. We don't really necessarily have a prick. We were kind of mean the first couple of months of the season, then it just stopped. Like, Kovacevic was getting into fights. Dylan was kicking the shit out of people. Like, we were scaring teams, and then it just stopped, and I don't know why. And I wish someone asked Keith that. Like, why did we led the league in fights until December?
Yeah, and I know that works, but like, you can remove that part of a team's game. You really can if you can control yourself. You can not let that dick be a dick and get under your skin and move on. Florida gets a lot of credit for the way they play and with winning the Stanley Cups, but above all, they were still a hell of a team. Was extremely opportunistic. It wasn't just the fact that they got a couple of dicks. Oh, we need dicks. We're going to win a Stanley Cup. Like,
because that's exactly right. Like, people are like, oh, look at Sam Bennett. He's hurting people and hitting people. It's like, yeah, he also scored 16 goals.
Right. Like, that's what I was going to say. The Sam Bennetts don't exist, dude. Like, you're not going to get a guy that's going to be that giant pain in the ass and just bring the whole team into the fight like he does. Oh, and win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Like, it's fucking crazy. And maybe I saw that Ace wrote, like, LeChance could be our prick. If you guys have listened, like, we love LeChance. We've been talking about him early this summer. We really want to see this kid. I like it. I
want to see how he does against pros. Like, I liked what I saw in the prospect stuff. I liked what I've seen at BU. God, you know what? What really was so impressive about him? Yeah, he's like big. He's mean. He's got good size. Throws his body around. He stood up for his teammate at the prospect thing. He has immaculate hands around the net. It's fucking unbelievable how good his hands are around the net. Like, I really can't wait to see how he does against pros. Like, I think I can't wait to see how his game translates. There's a really good article about him that came out a couple days ago, just kind of talking about his leadership when he was with Youngstown in the USHL. He was a young captain. Being a captain of Boston University as a sophomore is unprecedented. And honestly, like,
captain in
hockey's one sport where I'm okay with nepotism. Like I'm actually okay with nepotism because it works. Like you look at the Kachucks,
Yeah.
you look at LaChance. LaChance's grandfather is Jack Parker, who was the old coach of BU. Like the sons of hockey player sons, they fucking get it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him. All right, so it's getting a little late here. We're gonna do a quick Devil You Know, and then there's one other topic I do want just you guys' opinion on it. You can't be here for a Devil You Know?
I won't be able to finish that. I've got about 2 minutes, literally.
All right, well then we'll hold off the Devil You Know. We won't do it.
I gotta go.
All right, then we'll just finish up with the news out now that some certain old fourth line center for the Devils is now possibly signing with the Carolina Hurricanes. Looks like that's going to get done. What do you guys make of Michael McCleod going down to Carolina? I don't ever want to see the motherfucker at all, playing at all. I can't stand him. I understand. Look, I get it that he got all those charges were dropped, everything like that. Just what those actions did to this team and put this team through and all that shit. That's why I don't. Okay, the law says that you didn't do anything criminal. I can live with that. But you fucked this team over because of some horrible decisions that you made, and we're kind of still paying for that, not having that fourth line center right now. So fuck him.
I think, unfortunately, the need that one of the most desperate needs that we have, he would likely fill. I do think that this fan base has kind of mythologized this guy a little bit and is really overrated him. Like he just kind of got cut from his KHL team, and hasn't been in the NHL in 2 years. So we'll see what happens. I'm with you. I get that it was that he was acquitted, and he was. And I think, the law says that. And if that's what the law says, he deserves to get a chance to play again in the NHL. And it's not going to be for the Devils. And I'm perfectly okay with that. And that's more because of what I think of his abilities as a hockey player, not necessarily as a person.
Okay.
Yeah. So just because it was found not to be illegal doesn't mean it's absolutely not despicable. So therefore, I don't give a shit. I don't want you on my team, regardless of what that hockey skill would have done for the team. And I'm sure there's other problem players on other teams, but you know what? I don't know that particular side of the story. And if that happens and comes out, I'll figure that out too. But for now, I say, fuck this guy. Don't need
you. And the way I say is it's going to make beating Carolina in the second round of the playoffs next year
even
so
better.
Much more satisfying when he's on the team, because when we win the
Jack
Metro,
Hughes is winning draws from him left and right.
Oh God.
I don't
have to hear Bryce.
Right, I'm going to bounce, dudes.
Motorboat Mike. All right, Bobby. It's been it was fun. Would you like to anything closing out before you leave?
Bye byes.
I'll talk to you later, guys.
All right,
later, Bobby.
Be good.
All right. Yeah. Look, if the Devils re-signed him or wanted to re-sign him, I'd root for the Devils. I think some of the things that he said were pretty gross, but like Meadowlander said, it's could be virtue signaling. He was acquitted of those charges. I again don't think he's as good as people make him out to be, but he's not going to sign with the Devils. So
no.
Whatever.
No.
Who gives a fuck? It's not our problem. He's going to be the Carolina 4C and score 4 goals next year.
And then we beat him in the second round of the playoffs next year.
There you go.
Because we're winning the Metro.
There you go.
That's it. And we're coming. We're going to wrap it up now, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. This was fun. We had a good chat. You guys are all awesome. We love hanging out with you guys. So thank you. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, please subscription, the alert bells, the likes, all the other bullshit that's there. If you're listening to us on wherever you get your podcast, then a positive review, 5-star or positive comment, 5-star review, the download, subscription, all that other stuff does really help the little podcast that could. We will be back later on this week, and if something gets done with Luke's contract over the next couple of days, we're going to hop on. We'll do an emergency episode, even if it's only a half hour, just to kind of discuss it. And we're also going to be getting now into our picks as far as where we think teams are going to end up in their divisions, who's making the playoffs, and right up until the season starts, who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Tim, can't wait to do it.
And thank you, Sean. Tell your friends, tell your family, Or don't.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. You guys are all awesome.
But you know what, Chris?
What?
Valaket can eat the fattest of fucking dicks, you fucking loser. I hate you,
And
pussy.
with that, we'll see you when we see you. Later, fellas.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Still the best outro. It's over, Johnny.